What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We are back with a crazy upset season. As I say in my videos, upset alert, upset season. College football is not as predictable as one would think. You're looking at all this unranked talent beating up all this talent that says, we're going to the playoffs, we're winning the championship, but then you lose to Auburn, you lose to Kansas, you lose to freaking nobodies. That's who you lose to. You're losing to nobodies. Not even a ranked team in sight. All these ranked teams losing to unranked talent outside of, like, Indiana, who lost to Ohio State. But just remember, all this the experts out there, they're saying that. They said Indiana's schedule's weak. We have Alabama losing to Vandy. And then they go into Oklahoma, and they get beat the crap out of by Oklahoma? But anyway, I digress. SEC's just too strong. Kentucky is just too strong. Oklahoma's just too strong, But that's just my little spiel there. We're going over my prediction for my college football playoff prediction of the top 14. I'm not doing the 12 because I want to do like first two teams out just so we can have a visual kind of like what they do on Tuesday. So on Tuesday it's going to be the official college football rankings, but today we're doing my official college football rankings. So we're going to start with number 14, last team out. Drum roll, please. Alabama. The Alabama Crimson Tide losing to unranked 1-5 in conference Oklahoma by 21 points. They're getting out of the top 10. They're essentially out of the playoffs. Like this is the barrier to entry. It's 14, right? This is the barrier to entry. For you got to be better than Alabama. I'm going to tell you right now. South Clackalacken isn't on this list. They lost to Alabama. They have the same record. They're tied the head-to-head. Barrier to entry. South Clackalacken ain't getting in the playoffs if Alabama isn't getting in the playoffs. And the only way South Clackalacken is passing Alabama is if Alabama loses to Auburn final week. Number 13. Big 12, baby. Back in the top 14. After a good victory over BYU. It wasn't a great victory. They were dominant. ASU has a problem. We all can understand that. They get up really big at halftime, and then they let all their teams come back. We saw that in Kansas State. We saw that with BYU yesterday. But which Big 12 team is better? Who would go in this spot? I would have put Texas A&M here. They lost to Auburn. I would put Colorado here. They lost to Kansas. BYU lost to ASU. Who else are we putting in here? Clemson? Now that you mentioned Clemson, boom. Clemson number 12. There's no teams left. I was scraping the barrel to figure out who's going in right here. Because Ole Miss isn't going in here right now. They're not going in the top 12 after their pitiful performance against the Florida Gators. Like, come on, cut it out. They ain't in this list. They ain't in this list. This is a little different. There's going to be some different types of rankings on my list. I understand what the college football playoffs are doing when they put some of these teams in the top 5. I understand. But this is my list. I'm making my own way. Clemson number 12. They are first team out because Big 12 is third. Big 12 gets guaranteed. Clemson first team out. I will not be putting another ACC team because as you can see, there's somebody missing. SMU is not on this list as of right now. I'm not putting 3 ACC teams in the top 12. It's just not happening. Put Clemson at first team out because there's a lot of things that has to happen for them to get pushed into the top 12. It's not, and they need like Miami to lose, they need SMU to lose, etc. I think SMU has clinched their spot in the ACC title game with their win against Virginia. Clemson is praying on a prayer that Miami loses next week. Next, we have number 11. SMU Mustangs. The Mustangs. I have SMU here. After week after week after week of just sitting out, looking in, they're praying for SEC downfall because they needed that bump. And now they're sitting there undefeated in conference. They have one loss to BYU, which isn't a bad loss. At BYU is still probably going to be ranked after today. So, SMU, number 11. Now we're in the juicy part of the rankings of what is going to happen more than just shuffling people around. You know, Ole Miss, I already said, is not going to be there. Alabama's on the screen. The only other team that lost in the top 10 is Indiana. Where are they? I'll tell you. Boom! Indiana, number 10. I know you're probably saying that, grabbing the pitchforks. Indiana hasn't played anybody. Indiana got dominated by Ohio State. But, like, come on, let's be honest. Did Penn State not get dominated by Ohio State? I know they didn't lose by tons, but Penn State didn't score a single point after those 10 points. 20 unanswered. 20 unanswered points. Like, come on, let's cut the cap. And as we can see, winning football games is hard. Some of the best teams in the league are having a hard time beating teams that they should be beating. Ole Miss against Florida, Alabama against Oklahoma, Colorado against Kansas. Like, come on. Texas A&M versus Auburn. Cut the cap. Winning games is hard. Indiana's going to be number 10. I don't think they move. I think they stay at number 10 no matter what happens in front of them. I think they're going to be one of the lowest tier when it comes to the 12 team. But I don't think they're not going to make it. They just got to win their game next week, and they'll get in. But they'll be playing against a strong team. There's no home field advantage for Indiana. Number 9. Welcome to number 9, Mountain West. Boom. I got Boise. Moving up. You know, they got some help. There's a lot of shuffling, a lot of things happening. I don't think they're going to move much farther than this. They're going to be sitting around 11, 10, or 9 the entire time. I don't think they're going to get a home field. Ain't nobody want to play in Boise. And Boise, technically, the only good thing on that resume is that loss to Oregon. They lost by 3 points. I know Ashton Jency ran up to 200 yards on them, but I don't think that they're going to get pushed up any farther. They got to pray that Colorado State loses for them, because then they can play another ranked team like UNLV. But number 8, we're moving into the juicy Tennessee. Boom. Volunteers. It was looking a little dicey there in the first quarter. But then once Tennessee started going, offense looking good. Tennessee, Volunteers, number 8. And you're probably saying, man, there's not much difference than just like the normal college football playoffs. I know, but we're getting there. We are getting there. And number 7, we have the Hurricanes. Cam Ward. Yeah. But Miami, I have number 7. I think I just moved them up just because of just kind of like things shuffling around. Cam Ward's still looking good. I know they still, like I say, my picks and predictions. You can check that on the channel on other videos. But I had Wake Forest scoring some points on Miami. I was like, Wake Forest is going to stay in there for a little bit because Miami does not know how to play defense, especially in the first half. And then Miami's just going to take off later. And guess what happened? They stayed in the first half, stayed close, and Miami just kind of took off. Number 6. This is going to shock some of you. Boom. I know I just said with Indiana, winning games is hard. But when you go down to the wire with Minnesota, you are not a top 5 team in my eyes. Not a top 5 team. Just I gave Oregon benefit of the doubt last week. That was like, okay, Oregon beat Ohio State. They had a little rough, rocky patch. But Penn State has been looking like this every week. Every single week. So Penn State, number 6. Outside looking in the top 5. It's not bad placement. Don't hear me wrong, it's not a bad placement. But yeah, they're not a top 3. They're not a top 4. They're a top 6. There's a number 6 in my book. And now you're looking at the top 5 going, where is Texas? Where is Georgia? Where is Notre Dame? Where's Ohio State or Oregon? Are they going to be number 1 still, or are they going to be moved around? Number 5. We have the Longhorns. Texas is similar to Indiana. They didn't play nobody. Best win is Vanderbilt. The only ranked team they played, they lost. The only good ranked team they played, they lost. Lost. Did you hear me that? They lost to them. Just like Indiana. We're giving them benefit of the doubt because they played a lot better than Indiana against their one ranked foe. But similar situation. I don't think Indiana should be punished to that level of degree. Number 4. Boom. Doop. Thought I was joking. Boom. Georgia, number 3. Notre Dame, number 4. You thought it was sweet. You thought it was sweet. You thought I was going to put Notre Dame in the top 3. Notre Dame just moved up to 4. Just going to keep it honest with you guys. The College Football Playoff Committee is not doing this. They are going to keep Penn State right where they are, top 4. Notre Dame's going to sit at number 6 the entire time, even if Notre Dame looks like a better team. I know Notre Dame lost Northern Illinois, but now they're beating the crap out of teams. They're looking solid. It's not their fault their schedule, the teams that they're playing on their schedule are not good. They had Florida State on their schedule. They beat Texas A&M. They play USC. Like, come on, like there's teams on there. Big names. Number 2, Ohio State Buckeyes. And that leaves Oregon. Number 1. Boom. This is my rankings. This is what I think. Some of you are probably going to go, man, there's just not enough SEC. There's not enough Big Ten. And you're going to be like, well, maybe the SEC should actually win the games they should beat. I think the SEC had a chance to have 4 to 5 teams in this 12-team playoff. If these teams didn't lose, it's trash. They had a huge chance. They had Ole Miss, they had Alabama, Texas A&M was right there on the edge, and they already had Georgia and Tennessee and Texas already in there. They already had 5 teams in the top 12. 2 teams lose. They had a 6-man just barely looking in. Like, come on. They were so close for the SEC, but then they started losing the trash. Junk. So they started looking just like every other conference. Just looking like every other conference. We're always going to talk about the SEC, all this prowess. But this is college football, baby. Anything can happen on that field. But that's going to be it for this video. Please like, subscribe if you like this kind of content. Peace.